The AMC Eagle Wagon was one of the wildest things to come out of the 1980s. This combined a lot of cool stuff. You got a stout four-wheel drive chassis. You got a lot of room in a spacious wagon body, and you got a bulletproof 4.2-liter inline-six engine. Throughout the 80s, they made a lot of different variants of this, such as the SX4, which was meant to be a sportier variant of the Eagle Wagon, and it was meant to attract younger buyers back in the day. They also made this, which is called a camback. This is basically a Gremlin with a four-wheel drive chassis underneath it. But those aren't the rarest versions of the AMC Eagle Wagon. The rarest one, and the one that I want you guys to know about, is the AMC Wagon Diesel, made only in 1980. So like I said, they only made these in 1980, and they only made 7 of them for reasons that we'll get to here in a minute, but this is the only one left. This, right here, this is the only picture I could find of a real AMC Eagle Wagon turbo diesel, and it's because it's the only one left. This is actually from Haggerty during their Barn Find series, I think is what it was called, and this was taken about 7 years ago. All right, now let's talk about the backstory of why this was even made. So this was actually a collaboration in 1980 between AMC and an Italian diesel maker called VM Motori that you might recognize if you have a newer Chrysler product. The engine that they actually decided on was a 3.6-liter inline-six, making about 150 horsepower and 219 foot-pounds of torque. So I wanted to do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison between the inline-six and then the turbo diesel. So the turbo diesel was actually more powerful, and it was faster, got better fuel economy. So if this was so much of a win, why did they only make 7 of them? So just like everything else, it all came down to dollars, and it didn't add up whenever it came to the total amount for these cars. So $14,000 was the base price of an AMC Eagle Wagon, or roughly 14 grand back in 1980. The conversion for the diesel from Via Motori was $9,000 by itself, which was insane. You could have bought a Jeep Cherokee for the same amount of money it would have cost you to convert that thing over to a diesel. Or if you think about the total, that's the price of like Mercedes and BMWs and very, very fine pieces of machinery back in the 1980s. So you might be asking yourself the same question I did. Like, why would you even make that if it was going to be that expensive to put the diesel engine in it and then sell it to the public at $24,000 in 1980? That's just a lot of money for back then. This is the conclusion I came up with. These are my thoughts. This was a home run shot. They were hoping that this would pan out. They would sell a ton of units so that they could retool, maybe make some cool cars, come out with some different engines, or do whatever they needed to do to survive, because this was a struggling auto manufacturer. They were on the downhill slide, and they ultimately sold out to Chrysler in 1987. So that's just my opinion, that this was like a home run shot to try to see what would happen, and it ultimately failed. But let me know what you think down in the comments.